Brothers is correct in their analysis of the time period Monsters Inc. occurs in terms of the human timeline, Syndrome's zero-point energy would have either not been created yet, or its effects would have not have had the time to reach the Himalayas. Once again, I'm going to save you the headache. There is no evidence in any of Pixar's 23 films that suggests how this information might have left the Himalayas. 22 seems to be going towards this region, and they might have something to do with it, but there isn't really any evidence to suggest that. Of course, there are 2 films that are coming out soon, and both of them have something to do with the topic. Luca, from its description, seems to be about the descendant of banished monsters like the abominable snowman. These banished monsters may have kept in contact and know each other, because the abominable snowman knows Bigfoot, a banished monster who inhabits North America, not Asia, and who has borne poison ivy, something that doesn't grow in the Himalayas. Turning Red, from its description, could plausibly take place near the Himalayas, and Mei Li could plausibly run into the abominable snowman. The abominable snowman made lemon snow cones, but where would he have gotten the lemons? He would have had to go down to the markets, and while he would have made an effort to avoid humans, he could have run into Mei Li as a panda on his way back up. Mei Li would probably be less likely to be afraid of the abominable snowman and to run away than other humans, given her unique traits. And who would pass up the opportunity to talk with someone with an attitude as amicable as the abominable snowman? In third place, we have Coco. I gave this a 291 out of 300. This film is simply beautiful, in its animation, in its plot, in its music, and in its message. I ranked Miguel as the 26th most powerful hero, Hector as the 43rd most powerful hero, and Ernesto de la Cruz as the 11th most powerful villain. Before we get into the top 2, I'd like to say I found it really difficult to decide between these 2 because they're both absolute masterpieces. In second place, we have WALL-E. I gave this a 294 out of 300. Pixar took a few huge risks with this movie, and they paid off handsomely. I ranked WALL-E as the 37th most powerful hero, Eve as the 12th most powerful hero, the Captain is the 46th most powerful hero, and Otto is the 2nd most powerful villain. I'd also like to point out that the 2nd most powerful Pixar villain was not only in the same movie as, but most directly defeated by the least powerful Pixar hero. And finally, in first place, we have The Incredibles. I gave this a 295 out of 300, fully 200 points more than last place. I would consider this to be Pixar's magnum opus. Few lists I've seen rank The Incredibles as the number 1 Pixar film, but this is at least what I consider to be the best Pixar movie. I ranked Mr. Incredible as the 6th most powerful hero, Elastigirl as the 5th most powerful hero, Violet as the 9th most powerful hero, Dash as the 11th most powerful hero, Frozone is the 7th most powerful hero, Syndrome is the 4th most powerful villain, the Underminer is the 9th most powerful villain, and Bon Voyage is the 20th most powerful villain. I like The Incredibles so much, I'm currently investigating a question I had when I last saw the movie. Namely, how much did Operation Kronos actually cost? I did some statistical analysis on this stuff and came up with some interesting stuff. The 5-score summary of the data of the scores on the movies is 95, 207, 250, 281, and 295, with an IQR of 74. Therefore, the score for the Good Dinosaur is an outlier, but just barely. The mean of the scores with the Good Dinosaur included is 240.5652, and the mean without is 247.1818. When the scores are plotted against the number of years after Toy Story the respective film was released, the equation of the line of a regression with the Good Dinosaur is y equals negative 2.15504x plus 273.17185, and the equation without is y equals negative 1.58382x plus 270.7952. When the average score for each director is calculated, Sohn gets an average of 95, Andrews and Chapman jointly get an average of 178, Fee gets an average of 203, Cooley gets an average of 208, Scanlon gets an average of 220, Lasseter gets an average of 234.6, Stanton gets an average of 262, Bird gets an average of 266.7, Doctor gets an average of 270, and Unkrich gets an average of 283.5. So, now you know my preferences. And until I release the results of what I found on Operation Cronus and Soul, auf Wiedersehen.